makes sense. But transmitting long distance energy is not going to be, unless you go through radiation or a laser beam kind of a technique. But converting into laser and then transmitting it, receiving it, converting back is going to be a tough one.
Connected to one thing, like what you mentioned, the storage. There's still a lot of opportunity to have some good storage device which can, like on solar or whichever energy we are producing, and to store it somewhere and utilize it at some other point of time. Or if it can be transported also, like if we can reduce this kind of wiring and other things. If you can store it properly in a portable kind of battery, that will be a huge scope.
Power generation is, it seems as we go into the future, power generation is going to go more distributed. Distributed means in the Western world what's happening is essentially they're mandating and headed in that direction. It's happening in a state like California, which is very liberal. Every household, they would like to see that it runs on its own time. And recently, now a company like Tesla has come up with the power bank. So it's a very nice looking piece of equipment which you slap on the wall of your garage. Power is generated, it charges. It's so commonsensical, and you feed it into the house. And whatever excess power is there is to be fed into the grid. So that's already operating and running. And therefore, what you will see is the generation will be distributed. Companies, households will be doing that. And this particular company with its sister company, Solar City, they both have come together and kind of making each and every house a generator, a power generator. So that's a beautiful future because you no more taking power from the power companies and not burning fuel and not doing the CO2 thing. So I think that's an exciting area which is happening right now. Where it goes, where 2040 goes, that's another projection that we have to do.
Anybody else thoughts on electrical power?
So coming back to the construction industry, we were talking about before, Radha sir said about innovation at the bottom of the pyramid. So one thing that comes to my mind is looking at the condition of our roads, the scenario of Indian roads. I think if we could come up with an innovation, a smart innovation for road repairs, something which is smart, quick, and convenient. Because as in I see by 2040 there will be more luxury cars on the road, so people would want to see roads which cause less wear and tear of their cars. So some technology which does offer us, because there will be continuous wear and tear of the roads progressively, with the usage, and especially in our country. So some technology which works on the repair of the roads. I think that is one spectrum we can see that there is an opportunity making some innovation there.
I think you are right. The whole innovative approach will be not to allow that pothole to generate, not to allow that crack to generate. But I'll give you an example. We already are solving that problem. In India, hopefully, I have just written the Indian specification for the entire industry to follow. So 15 years from today, hopefully you will not see a pothole in India. That is definitely coming. But coming to, let's say, polar vortex in US you saw, right? Now, when a wind like that comes and you have a sudden drop, the whole road freezes, but the freezing is at the top, not at the bottom. So here there is a shrinkage and here there is no shrinkage. And these are the things which will make the road fall apart. So roads are subjected to weather conditions a lot. To build that level of flexibility and that level of stiffness. So you have to do the hot and cold. That's a challenging task. But that is where the whole technology will evolve. It is evolving on a gradual basis. But what I am saying is, it's India which can take the lead into that. Because not much of work is happening on a global basis in that, particularly in the United States and Europe. nobody in US and Europe is actually innovating textiles. Because they have already given it away to everybody else. So it is the India and China which is to take the lead and innovate. So that what I'm trying to say is that if you guys really need to see businesses, you will have to identify those businesses where you may have the innovative capabilities, but look at what was the pyramid first before you abandon it. And look at the opportunity. That would be my, but yes, repairs is something, and there are many solutions available. Problem in India is the incompetence of the engineers who own the roads on our behalf. You know, that's the basic problem. Anything else? We can move to the next topic.
So adding to going back to the power sector, so in the US there is research being done on this material that conducts heat extremely efficiently. So what they're trying to do is drill a hole from like the top of the earth, which goes as close to the core as possible, and then they put this material from here to wherever the as close to the core as possible. So now the bottom tip of that material would get heated due to the heat of the core, and then that would be conducted on the top part of the material, and that can be extracted into, I mean, that could be converted into whatever electricity. So that's also something that could be looked at.
That's interesting, but the only thing is drilling that deep,
Yeah.
50 miles deep possible.
I mean, that is still something.
Going 50 miles deep is not going to be easy. I think what I have seen in Bill Gates, I have seen in a presentation where he has invested a lot of money on fission and fusion-based technology which they are trying to pursue, where all the nuclear waste which is lying around, if they are able to use that then and produce power, then they feel that there is enough of material to last for something like 10,000 years already. So there is a very big effort which is done on their part. And these are private investors who are putting in their money. I'm sure they were selling something, and they believe that that is almost going to be as efficient as the solar panels.
I did a course in college on alternative energy, and one of the things we learned was that as dependent as we are on fossil fuel, no one singular alternative is actually going to be able to replace that dependency. So what the future of energy will have to be is a very segmented market, and it is like you said, it is generation of energy where it is needed. So every place is going to have to pick the most efficient method to generate energy at that place at that time, and it will change, and what we have to learn to do is to evolve, to have it evolve rather than expect one to be a solution.
Adding to that point, actually interestingly just today I was reading something, and one of the, I think, Netherlands-based companies, what they have done is they have combined the solar panels with some sort of an AI, some sort of a computing technology that it's a foldable device. Firstly, it forms like a flower, and it rotates according to the sun, like where the sun is. It positions itself, and it generates 40% more solar power than regular panels. Also, it has certain detectors in it that where there are strong winds, it folds back inside, and that one device is enough to generate the entire electricity required for one household. So, generation of energy at the source, as you were saying, is a possibility now.
I think foldable solar plants and self-assembling of solar plants is definitely the way to go forward. Because you can sort of in the daytime, like a flower, you open up, in the night you again fold back, or in a windy day you fold back, or on a, so these are all very interesting possibilities which can happen. Question is, who can develop, like Malik was saying, that if energy becomes so cheap, ability to construct super strong metals, lightweight, composites would be there. So suddenly, a lot of technologies may change the way we are looking at it. And a lot of things which are not possible today may become possible tomorrow. So these are all things which we will have to keep track as you progress along in the next 25 years. You can actually make a lot of money by investing in such kind of companies. One thing which can come out of this is now okay, this guy is working on this technology, maybe this guy is going to make a lot of money, so let me buy his stocks. I'm just joking, but that is also a good way of making money. But yeah, foldable, I think, is definitely one very good area to focus on in the future. Possible that we can really do that. There is also thermosolar. That means they would heat something and then extract heat out of the thermal bank. So these are eutectic, salt solutions which are heated up to 600 degrees C, and they are kept there. And then you can extract heat at maybe 300, 350 degrees centigrade and get a steam of 20 bar. So those kinds of are possible. But now that is becoming actually irrelevant because you are getting directly power conversion efficiency is high. So I think right now we are at 1932 is definitely a path in the next 7-8 years, 10 years we are seeing. So I think thermosolar is not going to be a very big option. But as a storage device, eutectic liquids can be a future. I don't know. It's because everybody will finally go at some kind of a storage area. Whether it is a battery or whether it is a heat or whether it is something, you will need a storage. How do you do that? Today, what is a hydrocarbon? Hydrocarbon is nothing but a concentrated hydrogen and carbon assembled together by nature. So similarly, can you also do the same thing? So that is also another area, another opportunity for business as this grid comes in. Someday you will bank upon. So someday somebody would have to invest, whether it is a government, whether it is a private person, doesn't make any difference. But energy sink or energy storage in any form, I think is the way to go forward in 2040. And definitely there is a big business scene in that area. You want to say something? Okay. So should we go forward or anybody else would like to contribute in?
Sir, generating energy is one part, in my opinion. Other part is also transmitting it or distributing it. So, I feel the nature of the material, like for example, you are working on the basic material of the road at the molecular level. I think that whole nano concept is a huge thing, as we all know. That will apply also to a large extent in the conductivity of materials as well. Because power ultimately will depend on voltage and current, as well as the natural resistivity of that conductor. So, of course, superconductivity is still probably theory. I don't know whether it's commercialized. I'm not very sure about that. But something maybe on those lines at 2040, I don't know, as you said, maybe a company doing research on that, we can buy the stocks of that company.
One thing I will tell, if you can read patterns and learn how to read patterns, I think maybe Malik, you have done a course in Illinois, how to read patterns and all that. If anybody is interested, I think he's the guy you should get in touch with him. So he has a deep understanding of pattern searches and pattern reading and how they are interpreted and how they are licensed and all that. Why I am bringing the pattern? See, if you really want to pick up trends, what's happening? If somebody is patenting and it's a global dominating company, there has to be some value in it. Because if they are allotting money to protect it, there has to be something. May not be everything is relevant every time. But if you read, you are starting to get clues what is the thinking emerging, because they always give you a summary of why they are doing it. And they always give you at the end the logic why this innovation is important and it is a sort of a development in the art. So reading pattern should be a part of the habit which you can start getting inculcated. Every day if you say that okay, I will devote 1 hour Now start reading patents. Maybe in your own area, or maybe the areas that the companies you see would develop technologies which will help you. Because I can today take technologies from a aircraft industry and bring it in the roads. Now, nobody will think that is connected. But there are a lot of technologies which are possible, which are being used there, but can be applicable here. So you may have a business which may bring in technology from different sectors. And I think reading their patents is not a big deal. Even if you run through abstracts, you will generally get a clue whether you are interested in reading that or not. But that's the way you can really extrapolate, saying that if this guy is patenting it today, that means he is seeing 20 years. So you are that 25-year jump, what you are looking for in terms of getting that vision, can come from patent. Newspapers are not really good because they don't capture the inner working. They don't really give you the depth. So this could be one clue which I think everybody can look at. You are technically trained in that direction.
I was at a conference in Bombay earlier this week, and someone from Tata Chemicals, they mentioned a very interesting thing, that they do a lot of innovation at intersections. So not specific to one industry, but where two industries are kind of overlapping. So it could be healthcare and computers. It could be automotive and material sciences. And, there's a lot of play there. And even if you start spotting trends in places which look like intersections, you're likely to see both those industries benefit, and that's one way to keep an eye on it.
One helpful sort of piece of advice that I would have for anybody looking at patents and trying to decide if what the company is doing is very innovative or not, is obviously one, the patent has to be relatively new, because that just means that the company is about to encash on it or has not yet encashed on it. But two, the best way to gauge is how many times that patent itself has been referenced by other patents. Because a lot of times, in certain area, the sort of basic patent or the mother patent, whoever has control of that is really the innovator and has all the cards in their hand. And most other people, start then referencing to other patents to go after derivative innovations. But so that is one way to really, assess the value of a patent, because I read somewhere the statistics that only 2% of patents actually even make back enough money that was used to file for it. So, there are millions of patents out there, but only 2% are actually commercially, viable. So that is one way to assess whether the patent is really that important or not, is to just look at how many times it itself has been cited.
Should we move on to the power sector? What else? I think today we had mentioned that should we now get into the services or manufacturing? Anything we have left on a big scale? We did agriculture fully. Biotechnology, anybody wants to discuss where it is heading? There is not really a cup of tea of this group.
You know something about that.
Last time we discussed so many points, particularly in agri-biotechnology, particularly tissue culture.
The human biology. Because that's where the real genetic and the custom medicine and maybe all kinds of things will start happening. So any clue where the whole thing is moving in what direction, and is there any role which, like Boston is a hub now for all the biomedical technology. So we really are seeing Boston and maybe San Francisco. These are the two main hubs where a lot of startups are happening. Every major pharmaceutical company has gone and put their R&D facilities there. So definitely a lot of things are happening. I'll just share with you one very interesting example from MIT. You feel like source with me. This one professor was only doing work on human mucus. Now you will say, what is there to research on human mucus? This professor, maybe, she basically built that whole ability to sort of reproduce human mucus. And then whenever the transplanting is done of an organ, generally the problem is rejection. So she would cover that with that person's mucus and then implant. So the body will think that this is not anything else but my own body. And then it will, over a period of 3 weeks, it would wear out and get dissolved. And then the body would have already learned to live with that. And she brought down the rejection rate almost towards 95%. Now they are successful. A lot of such technologies from bio, I think, can come out. So I think no